Speaking of strive, I made a video about instant blocking. I'm sure some of you probably saw it over the weekend. And I got a lot of comments. I think you're really oversimplifying a little here. If you do IB too early, yeah, you get a block. But if you do it too late, you just get hit instead. Mistiming it could just kill you. Doing it versus an airtight block string, you know, is the time it has no risk. And if you mess it up, you're going to get hit. 21, as you can see, little thumbs up down there. This comment here, this is another one about delayable Gatlings. And then the next one, I'm slowly disappearing into the void. It's only low risk when it's a true block string. If they leave a gap, you'll get hit, etc., etc. I love when I try to IB and I just get hit for 50%. There's a fundamental misunderstanding here on all these comments. And because of this, I figure it's worth recovering. If this many people put these in comments, then this many people don't understand the situation, or they think this way, right? Like a lot of people thumb this up, so they think this way. I'm going to ask a question. Let's just say, right, a move hits me on frame 10. My IB timing, I'm aiming for slightly early. I will aim for frame 8 or frame 9. If I'm a little early, I'll just get my block. And if I'm right on time, if I hit it on frame 9, or if I'm a frame late on frame 10, I'll get my IB still, right? That move gets delayed to frame 15, right? They delay their move to frame 15. What happens to me, the defender, if I'm aiming for frame 8 or 9 to IB, and they delay their move to frame 15? Do I get hit? No, I'm blocking. If they delay their Gatling, it's not like I stop blocking. I'm holding block. And if the move now is on frame 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, I'm still blocking. Saying like, oh, if they delay your Gatling, now you're just fucked is like the opposite of what the situation is. It's actually, you're perfectly safe. That's the great part about it. Clearly there's like a misunderstanding of what they think the situation is and what the situation I'm trying to demonstrate is. So I'm gonna show it in the game. That comment that was like, oh, you're doing stuff in training mode, etc., etc. I did do one thing in training mode, but the first clip was in a game. So let me show you. We'll do the same block string that Kai did in the video, and then slot 1. Here's what I'm gonna do. I should turn that off to start. So fastest possible timing, right? Slot 2, I'm gonna do biggest delay Gatling possible timing that I can do. All right. All right, slot 3, I'm gonna do slow and then fast. So I'll delay the 2S and then I'm gonna do the other parts fast. So we'll do that part fast. Slot 4, I'm gonna do the 2S fast and then delay that part. Okay, so my timings are all over the place. As long as I don't make a mistake. If I do the early IB timing, which is again, it's this recording right here. If I IB for this timing right here, the fast one, I'm going to miss the IB because my opponent is purposely trying to make me miss my IB by delaying the Gatling. But I'll just give you guys an example, right? So I'm going to always aim for the earliest IB possible here. Okay, so that was the biggest delay one first. Okay, I'm trying to IB every hit. I've gotten no IBs so far. And he's done the biggest possible delay every time. This is the one that's supposed to hit me, by the way. Hey, look at that. He did it faster, so my IB worked. See this? The second hit was the early timing, so I got the IB correctly. You see this? That one was the fast one. Does this make sense? By delaying the Gatling, it doesn't make my IB worse, right? Like, it just means I'm not going to get the IB. Do you see this? You see what I mean? Because he's purposely trying to defeat my IB, right? It doesn't work. But notice, like, when he does the later Gatlings and stuff, I'm not getting it. See, that was the fast one, which is why I got it on the second hit. You see this? So what I'm saying is, like, when people said this was risky if they delay their Gatlings, I mean, how many, what was that, like 7, 8, 10 recordings in a row? There's 4 moves a string, 40 buttons, and I never got hit. So let's say this is slot 2. This is the one with all the biggest delays possible, right? The thing is if he starts delaying his buttons like this to beat my IB, number 1, hell yeah, that means your defense has created a problem for your opponent, and they're trying to solve this. So if they start doing these big delays, I can mash a button. I can start doing a DP if I don't miss the buffer, right? He left the big gap there. If you go to this one, I can backdash now because there's a gap, right? You've created new options available to yourself that were previously not there, and now there's larger gaps. I'll give you the example so that you can see that it's not as risky as you think if you do it in this way. And this is the objective behind the IB. This is why we do it like this. I'm just doing the early IB timing every time. And because I'm doing the early IB timing every time, I'm like incredibly safe. You know, right there, I didn't even hit the early IB timing. I was too early. And this is how you practice IBing a string. It's not some like witchcraft thing. Yeah, so for IFD, there's a few secrets. Most people do like a buffer. So you can hold down 2 buttons and then just tab down back to get the FD. I don't use it because I'm just like, I don't know, I just hit the buttons together. I'll never forget when someone asked Jimmy, like, do you buffer, taunt, jet upper? He's like, no, I just hit the buttons. And I was like, you know, he's so fucking right. This is how you do it. That's it. I would never tell you something that like I don't think is true. You know, I'm not out here trying to like make stuff up about IB. You know. So even if you only IB like 1 hit or 2 hits in a 3-hit string, there will be less pushback than before. The reason I wanted to talk about it is because, you know, if you have that many comments on a video about how IB works, and they all say basically the same thing, and they have a lot of upvotes, then, you know, that just tells me that a lot of people don't really get what I'm trying to point down. Because, like, if that many comments are like, hey, this is really risky if they delay their Gatling, that's actually the opposite of the truth. Yeah, Giovanna's 2S is hard to... I'll try it. I've tried it before, and I was like, I'm just gonna FD her. What I found with FD was better anyway. This shit is hard. IB is better against... It all depends on the situation and the string. I never try to IFD that. What I try to IB on this character, instead, there's 2 things I try to do when I defend against her. I try to IFD this on knockdown, and if you mess it up, you get FD. Which is perfectly fine. And the other thing I try to IB is... I try to IB the last 2 hits. No, because the Gatling routes in this game are more narrow, it's easier to understand what the Gatling's going to be. So I generally IB for the faster Gatling. 3-frame privilege, hold up. Yeah, I have a 4-frame too. But maybe I might not be right. Just IB the last hit to get a better punish. I'm gonna IB the whole thing. Aw.